Welcome to February's Pick Your Path. My name is Jenessee, and I will be your guide this February 2021. So stay tuned, and we are going to discuss what the duality of this February might bring for you. So if you are here, it is because you are in love with chakras, you are in love with yourself, you are in love with this life journey, right? Let's hope so, because as we continue through this year of 2021, it is all about change. It's about shifting. It's about constantly knowing when you're in the right lane, when you're in the wrong lane of life, letting go all the time, so that you can readjust and stay centered to that highest, clearest pathway moving forward. So if I could do anything from the end of January into this switch of February, it would be one of those drag queen drop kicks, because I swear to be just done. It is out. January is out the door. January is gone, and I am so glad. I don't know astrologically what was going on. It had to be something, because honestly, this January came in like a running bull and kicked most of our butts. Most of those of you who I talked to were going through so many shifts and changes. And so here, as we're transitioning out of the end of January and into February, I can already feel things shifting and realigning, looking inward, doing the work, noticing how I tried to click back into some of the old patterns. I can see how that was shifting me and helping me to move forward. And so hopefully that's what you got out of January as well. You got to face and stare some of those old demons in the face as you looked at yourself through January, and are now ready to move forward and continue shifting, continue learning, and continue the growth. So we're going to do a little bit of a compound reading. I'm going to talk about what I talked about in depth, probably a little bit too much at the end of January, during the duality of January, and kind of continue that here, because I think it's really important, and I think it might help you to understand and integrate some of those learnings or teachings about the consciousness levels and where you might be. So again, when I talk consciousness, I talk through a language of kind of archetypes to help you fit into an area of how you can dive deeper into the exploration of what you're going through. And so, there's the baby phase, or what happens when you start to have that midlife crisis and realize there's so much more to this world than just clocking in and clocking out and being in the grind. And so as soon as you unplug from that reality, that physical plane of reality, basically taking your consciousness and expanding it to not just be in the physical plane, but invite in so much more, which is then the emotional plane. We move from the baby phase, or that midlife crisis phase, and then we move into what's considered that 2-year-old phase, that tantruming 2-year-old phase that gets triggered a lot by everything that's happening in life. As you unplug from that and expand yourself wider to have even more life experiences, you move from that 2-year-old phase to the teenager phase, where everything becomes this inward journey. You hermit yourself to understand, to start to discover what your beliefs, what your truths are, and then you come back out of that phase and then move into the final ascension phase, which would be this adult phase, right? And this is where you plug into the human consciousness, the high self-consciousness, and live in unity and connection to all things with no expectation, no need to know, just simply being a vessel for the human collective as it moves in and moves out of its different experiments, you could say, in how we want to move this human collective forward. And so last month, at the end of last month, if you haven't watched that, I'd highly recommend maybe going back and watching that for a moment here if you want to understand more of this. But really, I wanted to dive in here before we enter the February cycle and talk about the duality, and then go into the red and blue path and what you might be experiencing depending on what path you're walking this month. Just to take a minute here and tell you how we choose to live, right? So there are two very distinct paths paths that I see. There is the path of meditation and going inward to quiet the silence of to find the silence and quiet the noise of the outside world, and to really retreat inward to see what's happening out here and how is that affecting me here. Again, we've got our objective reality and our subjective reality. And so when we meditate, we can quiet the static, the noise, everything we're connected to out here. And we can go inward to figure out what's happening and why is everything out here affecting me in such a way. And then you have the non-meditating path, right? And so to me, there's two very distinct paths. In my history in getting to this point that I sit here in front of you at, there was a long time, many years where I spent meditating, deeply meditating 2, sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes at the lengths of ridiculous 90 minutes, 2 hours, right? This is when I had small children. And so exploring that side of myself for a long time, it gave me a lot of understanding. It helped me figure out my own level of discernment to understand the world. It really helped a lot to classify and help me recognize the objective reality that was happening around me and what was happening internally, subjectively, right? And so it was a very important part of my phase, my journey. But then at some point I said, I can't do this anymore. I came here to be human. I want to show up, and I want everything to show up around me. This isn't typical, right? People who tend to find meditation stay in meditation for their practice and the longevity of their, human existence. It becomes something that is really balancing and harmonizing and cathartic to really, again, find that quietness and that understanding of what's going on. But I came here to be every man, be every woman, right? And so part of my journey was experiencing it and then clicking back into how the mass majority of people live their life, right? And so at some point in my career, however long ago it was, I don't remember now, but I said, I don't want to meditate anymore. I want everything. I want to be a vessel. I want to show up every day and have what I would receive as information in meditation. I want to have that engage with me in this human reality. I don't want to have to close my eyes and receive the answers. I don't want to have to remove myself from this objective reality. I don't want duality anymore. I don't want a veil. I don't want a separation between this objective and what I see, sense, feel, and, tangibly feel. And then I don't want a veil then clouding anything or making me have to then slip somewhere else to receive the answers for that. And so I made a very clear statement that if I'm going to keep doing this, there has to be no duality. There has to be no separation between me and what's coming through me. I don't want to have to go and break the veil between those two worlds. I want it all right here, right now. And I don't want to have to second guess in any of it. And so making that statement, I didn't know what kind of a journey and ride I would be on, but it really brought me to understand how the world, and we're talking about the difference between meditators and non-meditators, how we process. And so I think when you have a meditative process and you can quiet and you can go in, there's this ability to quiet the noise, to find who you are within the center of all that static, all that chaos, and it brings you back into center. It brings you back into homeostasis. It has almost this resetting capacity for you. And that is so beautiful. Again, I'm not talking here in any right or wrongs. Both paths are beautiful paths. I just want to explain how and what might be happening for each person on each path. And so the only thing then when we have the meditation is that there is now this external, internal, in essence, that does create the yin and yang of the universe, that creates, the positive, the negative. And again, nothing wrong with positive or negative, just the duality, right? And this is what we're moving into in February. So this is why I'm talking at length about it. February is in essence our duality month, and it's going to highlight where we are in duality. And so for those meditators, you live a very one foot in, one foot out. You live a subjective and objective reality. What you process and pick up on internally, subjectively, inside your own temple, then there's a sliver of difference between what you can achieve here and what you can achieve out here. Again, nothing good or bad about that. It brings you and allows you to discover what's at the core of you, what's at the truth of you, and what outside of you is maybe not you, but more of the collective energies, right? So it's a beautiful way to understand yourself more, to find that balance, to create that reset. Now, for the non-meditators, what happens when you're non-meditators, you're asking to perceive and receive everything in one reality. There's no switching between worlds here. And so for the non-meditators, it's very hard because you're constantly not only plugged into a lot of what's yours, but you're plugged into everything else in this reality. And it becomes very hard to understand who you are within all that white noise, all that static, everything that's happening around you. And so it becomes this really interesting journey where, depending on what level you're at, the 2-year-old emotional level, if that's where you classified yourself, you are constantly getting triggered by your external reality to then understand, something that I'm getting triggered by out here doesn't feel right. And so if you are a non-meditator, if you're not in your own practice, right, if you're not constantly taking what you're perceiving out here in the objective reality and bringing it internal to understand it, to fit it in or not fit it in, to release it. If you don't have that practice, you're dealing with everything at this ground zero, right? In your physical reality. And so without a practice, you have to learn how to move through and understand what you're picking up on. And so again, at that 2-year-old level, which most of our population is at now, when something triggers you externally, it's letting you know that you have aligned yourself to possibly a path, a timeline, something that's carrying you forward that isn't of you. It isn't your highest destiny, and it's something outside of you. And these triggers come up to get you to change, to get you to let go. For the teenagers, right, who are in their own world, figuring out their own stuff, this is what happens when their constructs, their ideals, their truths get challenged by what they see in the world outside of them. Again, it's in the teenage phase, it's the internal world that then tries to interpret what's happening externally. They have truths, they have beliefs, and so what happens is when you start to get confused, when some of your truths aren't able to work out anymore, when some of your truths don't make sense per what you're seeing in the world and the landscape around you, then what happens is you're being taught in that moment, there's duality, there's something going on here that isn't right, and we need to let go, to change paths yet again so that we can elevate ourselves to the next level and learn more and expand and grow more. And again, if you're an adult and you're one that's attached to the unity conscious, I just pray for you because it's a really hard ride right now. But for those of you finding yourself in that adult phase, you have surrendered your path, your journey to being of every person with non-judgment, no expectation. And so what that does is you're learning through every human experience, everything that's connected to you, everything that's happening in this human collective is teaching you and allowing you to perceive it and then let go of it, to shift it. But you're picking up, it's being like the massive empath here. You're picking up on everything, you're processing everybody's everything because you're a clear vessel to do so. And then by you holding that higher level, by being able to perceive greater than what's being shown to you, you then can engage with it and hold the higher vibration so that others can elevate and feel comfortable and supported, elevating to reach and expand themselves higher. And so again, what I wanted to talk about here and get into this February month was duality, because as we enter the February cycle, we enter the duality of 2021. The January month is all about the new beginnings. It's about us coming into this new energy and exploring ourselves and kind of, playing. It's like trying on clothes. It's like, do I like this look? Do I want to be this? Does this feel right? Does this feel good? And so that's what January is all about. And it was a highly charged month. And now we enter the February duality cycle, where depending on who you are and how you're experiencing life, if you're a meditator, somebody who takes the objective world and then creates a veil to go internally, subjectively, and you're constantly trying to understand the two in contrast, or to understand what you go inside to understand the outside, or you experiencing something outside and go inside, right? You've created a veil, a sheath between two realities that you're living in. And so your duality is going to come up within that and how you're living that, right? Again, nothing wrong with it, but this is in February. This is where all of your work is going to be done. It's going to be, what am I perceiving internally that's not fitting externally? What am I perceiving externally that's not fitting internally? You're trying to reconcile the two worlds to bring them into more of a unity, more of a one world, right? And then those who don't have a meditative practice, you are just trying to live within all of it, right? And you're trying to, either from whatever level of consciousness you're perceiving at, if it's that 2-year-old level of consciousness, right? Constantly getting triggered to figure out, oh, that wasn't me again. I was putting all my energy into something that wasn't right, and there they go again. They take my energy again. They're making me feel this way again. And and that's a beautiful thing. Again, love the charge, love the trigger, because it's showing you, oh, that was the wrong direction, change course. And then again, teenager and adult phase, I've already talked about it, but this is how we're living. This is living multidimensionally. Again, there is no right and no wrong. Buddha would tell us that it's all just a freaking game anyway. So why are you investing so much in the outcome? To just be a part of the flow, be a part of what is in non-resistance, and you'll find your pathway forward. You'll find that smoothest pathway forward. And that is what we're entering for February. So if you've stuck through, let me now go into what this Pick Your Path is all about. So every month at the beginning of the month, I will give you an option between the red path and the blue path. And why we do this is to really get you conscious about what decisions you were making in January, what life experiences you were having, because what you chose, what you thought, what you felt, and what showed up in January will now be the energetic connections that continue this pathway that move forward for you into February. And so what we do is take a look, we separate some of the energies that were coming in and some of those potentials so that you can get really clearly aligned on one of two paths to pick to walk this February through this duality month. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to review what those experiences were that you were having in January to help you get clear to see if you're going to be walking the red or the blue path. Okay, so when I do this reading, I've got energies. I've got the 77 windows to the soul, which is the chakra oracle deck. I've got 4 cards laid out for the red path, and I've got 4 cards laid out for the blue path. And so I track over here, and that's when I'm looking kind of down and past the camera angle through you to read what's happening. So when we look, we're going to start red path and then we'll go to blue path this month. Again, whatever energy you picked from January, you don't have to stay on the same path. It's clearing everything. You get to choose, you get to realign to what feels most appropriate now. So again, you don't have to stay on the same path that you were in or on in January. This is a totally new energy, and we're going to decide where you are by this first introduction. So red path is about wisdom, blue path is about the prophet energy. So let me get into each now. So the red path, if you're picking the red path, it's because a lot of what was happening in January was aligning to your purpose. It was bringing in this mass. It's like really connecting. You probably felt a ton of energy towards moving, aligning to your purpose, feeling inspired by your purpose, right? That thing which is inside of you that is so desperate to express itself here in this physical human reality. And so in that, the connection of the purpose really started to come into and affect your human path. And so this is all about wisdom. This is about gaining the knowledge, again, it's wisdom. There's no better word for it, but gaining what you need, seeing and having an understanding of what you need to then be able to feel like you in your human body in this January of 2021 leading up into February of 2021, that you were fully clicked into feeling in connection to your purpose. The human was in alignment to the purpose. You had the wisdom. It's still a very mental construct, right? So this isn't saying that it's fully come into completion, into manifestation yet. It does feel as if you would be very much so putting a lot of energy into living it in your human path in January, that a lot of your focus was on supporting the human that was in connection to what your purpose was. But it's a clear understanding, a clear knowing. And this is a soul level knowing, right? The wisdom energy here from the 77 windows, the wisdom energy always comes in to say that we're doing something that's a part of our divine blueprint. That what that energy was from January, it was very connected to your divine blueprint, very connected to what your soul is longing to experience and express here on earth, right? So living it, making choices because of it in January. So that's where red path would be. And so now we're going to go into blue path and see who you blue pathers might be and what energy should be ushering you into this month of February. So you will pick blue path if this energy is more resonant to what your life experience was in January. Blue path is all about your intuition being connected to the demographic, the group, the collective, the network, the community you serve. And so this would be the prophet energy. This is somebody who is put in charge of leading other people. This is somebody who is clicked in because of what they know, because of what they're picking up on, because of, again, both of these energies are extremely mental, but in much different ways. Red path, the wisdom energy, it's a very logical energy that's supporting the human. Now, reverse that for blue path. It's a very intuitive, inspirational energy that is serving a greater demographic, a greater group of people. You were put in front of people, or you were given a job, you were given a responsibility to lead people because of what you've intended, what you know, what's in your, how you see things, right? You see things different, and therefore you were given this opportunity to lead people, right? And so again, if we're talking just your family, maybe you have been put into this role that sees the bigger picture and now has to implement a program for the family. It could be just that easy and that simple with this prophet energy. And how that would translate for the red path would be, let's just say, you are the person who your purpose has become very clear in how you need to lead that family, right? So do you see the difference? It's more of an inspiration and something that's more intangible that gets you to motivate and inspire people around you would be blue path and the prophet energy, where red path is, this is my purpose. This is what I was here for. It's tangible. It's physical. I'm building structure. I'm building, what is it? Like there's a word I want to use here. It's like a mogul, somebody who's I'm building foundation. I'm building support around this, right? Where one is very physical, tangible. It must happen here in this world. Where the other one, the prophet energy, is more like your energy, your inspiration will then inspire inspire people around you. You are leading people through inspiration, where the red path is more of this, it's my purpose and therefore I must bring it here physically so that it can affect the people that live here on earth. So do you get the difference? The blue path is more inspiration. It's more of an emotional energy that's using currents energy to inspire people, where red path is much more, this is my purpose. I must build it. It's, what is it? The field of dreams, build it in and they will come. It's like, we've got to get this thing built so that, we can serve the greater need of whatever your purpose is here in this landscape of 2021, right? So hopefully that makes it clear. That's probably the quickest I've ever talked about the options for red and blue path. So take a breath here now and decide if you are going to be walking with the wisdom of red path, right? If you're coming from January, feeling that January was all about your purpose and what you are here to do as this human, that would be red path. Or if you're going to be walking with blue path, which is about the inspiration, using your own intuitive guidance to lead people to the promised land, right? To guide people, to assist people. But it's a bit more energetic, where red path is a bit more, we're building, it's my purpose, I must do this now, it must be human, it must be connected, right? Okay, so we're gonna start in with red path. So stay tuned for red path, and if you're going to go to blue path, jump to the timestamp here and you can go and listen to blue path. I say never listen to the full path if you're undecided, because you'll be taking on the energy of both paths, and no human should ever have to walk and take on that much energy, that many lessons in 1 month. But if you are on an accelerated journey here as a human this February, through duality, go for it. Again, we're learning how to reconcile some of the duality that we might be facing, and learning how to live multidimensionally in the face of our own created duality. Again, I'm using two black and white options here. Are you a meditator? Are you a non-meditator? If you're a meditator, you know how to come back into homeostasis. You know how to find your center. You know how to calm yourself and find your sense of stillness amongst all the chaos. Yet, you do that and you're always, a step ahead or a step behind, because you're straddling always two worlds, right? Your inner world and your outer world are never, well, I shouldn't say never, because they do overlap a lot, but there's a need to jump into one world to understand the other world. And so that is one person, and that would be kind of some of the duality that'll come up for you in this February, as we're learning how to live multidimensionally. Now, the other person who does not meditate, right, who just says, give it to me, I can handle it, do whatever you want, I'm your vessel, divine, show me what it is, right? Whether you're intentionally saying that or not, that's what you're getting. For the person who's not meditating, not having, and I shouldn't say just meditation, but a practice that helps you understand, right, everything that's going on, then if that's more your jam, then this February duality is going to be about teaching you, depending on what level you are. If you're at the terrible twos, if you're a terrible teenager, if you're in the adult phase, depending on where you are on that ladder, right, the 2-year-olds are going to have to learn that when they get triggered, it's a good thing. Because that was you putting your energy outside of you and somebody taking your energy, and it wasn't your stuff to begin with. Again, the 2-year-old that gets their lollipop stolen and it's like they go into a tantrum or a crying fit. It's like, but wait, you didn't need that lollipop. That's why it's being taken from you. So love the triggers, 2-year-olds, because this is where your duality of February is going to get taught to you. Now, the teenagers, this is going to be your own internal belief structure not being mirrored in the world outside of you. So again, when you think you know something, again, here we go, all you teenagers, you think you know, your duality is going to come up to say, you think you know, you really didn't know, and therefore you must change your path to align to what you thought you knew was where you were going, the path is changing. And so the teenagers are going to get kind of these like, whoop, like slam on the brakes, like, you know, life course change path moments where it's going to really come in to make you question who you are. And then when we go to the unity plane consciousness to the adults, where I always laugh. God save the unity plane people. It's just they're carrying so much weight right now as the whole midlife crisis people change into the tantruming 2-year-olds, right? They're living every level of it. Every higher level you go, you are also living the lower levels as well, as that collective is raising up. You're a vessel to help that lower collective raise up. And again, there's no higher or lower. It's just, there's no other way to describe multidimensionality except for in a linear way, right? And so as we get to the adults, your duality is going to come in when you start thinking it's you. Your duality is going to be the face off between, whoops, I was thinking individually again. Whoops, I was perceiving from my humanness again, instead of staying a part of the bigger picture of the human collective. Whoops, I owned that as my own stuff. Whoops, that I added to my identity. And there's no identity when you get to the adult phase. And so all your duality is going to come in when you've identified with something again. And it's like, oops, there is no I in unity plane. I mean, there totally is, but you get the drift, right? Okay, so as we get into this, let's go right into Red Path. I already said that, but let's just get into it now. So Red Path, your mastery this month is all about awareness. So the mastery comes in when you pick a path, you're choosing to learn an aspect of this moment, this time. Why are you alive? Why are you breathing right now? And how can we energetically anchor you into what the bigger picture is for you this month, right? And so that would be the mastery. That would be the monthly mastery. Again, because of who you were, the decisions you were making in January has now determined what kind of mastery you're going to have in front of you, energetically present in your field. Again, we're operating from these 7 chakras. These 7 chakras connect to the 7 cosmic planes, the multidimensional landscape. And because of how we're choosing to live within all of that connection, it creates our objective, our reality around us, right? And so that then creates a mastery potential to master the energy that's currently in our field. And so for you, it's awareness. And this is about you using your voice using your voice in the moment to clear away the BS. And so this is about you communicating. This is about you when you know something, when you're confused. Great, use your voice. I don't understand. Can you slow down? Can you help me see what you see, please? Right? And again, I mean, I can't keep doing this, but like, think about it. If you're a meditator, if you're a non-meditator, how is the world showing up around you? Where is your duality gonna be, right? So think about all these things, because this is such an in-depth storyline. I mean, legit, this, I could unpackage this for like a week for you and we would all still probably be getting triggered by it. But this is how quick the energy is coming in, and to live in the duality that you're choosing to live in, right? Meditator, non-meditator, go there. And then wherever you are within that phase, what you're trying to master here is how to use your voice to clear away the confusion, to clear away the density, to clear away what is standing in your way, what is blocking you. It's honestly, it's like the clouds that are in front of you that are preventing you from seeing the pot of gold. And this is legitimately you, Red Path, what you're trying to do. It's all about you and your purpose being tangibly created here on earth right now. so that you can live and serve part of what your divine design has you here incarnated in this amazing body that you're incarnated in, living and doing, and why you're waking up and why you're doing it every single day. And so for you, the mastery is use your voice. I mean, it is as simple as that, but we all know, especially in these heated times, you know, to use your voice in a very authentic way, in integrity, to speak what you think and feel in the moment. Holy crap, people are being crucified for this, right? Yet this is what's needed. This is what's needed to be able to, and I don't even know, oh geez, my ex-husband would kill me for this. What are the, oh geez, I don't even know, the Constitution? What is it? What is our, oh geez, everybody now is hating me for this. Whatever, the right to free speech, that's what it is. Thank you, we got there. Get grounded, get human. So the right to free speech, this is in honesty, I mean, let's just bring it down to, strip it down to like what the collective is experiencing right now. And you can see those in the red path who just got unplugged from the baby phase, right? Had that midlife crisis of 2020 and now got plugged in, and now they're the tantruming 2-year-olds. I mean, look, and you can see how if we're just going to the macrocosm of reality right now, you can see how half of those people who just got unplugged from one reality and now are kind of kicking and screaming and trying to figure out this new consciousness to live in. It's like now you can see half of them are, I mean, look at the debates and everything over free speech, right? And so this is the mastery. This is the plugged in mastery for you, Red Path. Using your voice in the moment. When I always say, when you think it, and then you feel it, if there's somebody outside of you that's supposed to hear something you think. Sometimes we think things and we can think a lot of things, but it's just our internal process. But then when we get that swell of energy that we actually feel connected to what we're thinking, that is when you have to speak it. If you swallow those things at that moment in time, this is when I say we start manifesting. This is the disconnect between the head and the heart. We start manifesting thyroid problems. So those of you out there on Red Path who have had or have struggled with thyroid issues, this might be a pattern you have, and this might be part of that duality when we go back into what February is all about. It's getting you to speak, and you can speak in a pleasant way. You can speak your integrity in a way that is not offensive. You can speak your integrity through questions to other people to get them to continue to have conversations with you, right? Without having to just tactlessly, like I do a lot of the times, blurt out your opinion when it's not so ready to be received by the other person. So there are sophisticated ways to speak clearly what is your integrity in any given moment. But again, when you think it and then you also feel it, it must be spoken. And this is what's going to clear away all the clouds to reveal your pot of gold that lies at the end of the rainbow that you could not see last month, right? This is about transitioning your energy and stepping into this mastery. And the mastery is awareness. You need to use your voice to create moments of awareness so you can obtain that pot of gold that your purpose is trying to serve your human with. Okay, so now as we get into, and I didn't look up the new moon or full moon dates for this February 2020, so do that yourself. But typically the new moon comes in with the new beginning. And so here I always say right around the 10s, it's usually that second week, but it can come in, it's been coming in real early, but right around, it's everything that leads up to the 20s. So the whole first 2 weeks usually of the month is your new beginning. It's when you step into this energy, the February duality mixed with your red path energy, which is your awareness. You mix and stir all these things into a pot, and now we're here in February. And it's like, there's got to be an infusion of energy that comes in, which represents the new beginning, the new energy here, the new moon, and it infuses us. It's like a boost It's like drinking one of those Red Bulls throughout the day. Like this new beginning is all about a new jolt of energy that comes in to help you achieve and live and experience your mastery, which is that using your voice in a present way to create awareness around situations. And so for you, the jolt of energy is prudence. Now this is all about using your voice again. So red path, if you're not claiming your truth through your voice this month, you are in duality. You're gonna be pushing up daisies come March. The human month is going to be hard for you. Use your voice. Just speak your truth. Speak your truth. I give you permission. Speak your truth. Okay, so the new beginning, again, with the new moon, the jolt of energy that comes in, it's prudence. It's about your intuition and connection to your voice. Again, this is saying, for you, a lot of times you discredit what you think because it feels intuitive, it feels maybe irrational. Sometimes it's not so logical. It's inspired in the moment. It's an expansive thought that has no, that's hard to defend, that's hard to stand up for. And this is just how it's going. You're an open, expansive, again, you're connected to your purpose. Why you're here is because you are open. You're a vessel. You're clearly in alignment to your divine destiny, which means your crown chakra is open. You're receiving guidance. And whether you believe in that or not, or have had physical, tangible experiences with that or not, I don't care. At this point, you're an open channel, which means you will have thoughts that are outrageous, that are expansive, that you can't rationalize, that are hard to explain, that are hard to communicate, that you say, I had an experience and I don't know how to communicate this right now. And somebody's standing outside of you saying, oh, well, what's happening? And you're like, and it's hard. Stop. It's like, slow down. Say, give me 3 seconds. I just need 3 seconds to try and understand and communicate this to you. Don't leave. I need to communicate this, right? It's like your voice is so important right now. Your voice is a tool and it's connected directly to your intuition. Sometimes it's not even about the person outside of you. They are there as an anchor point to simply get you to try and verbally communicate what you're receiving. And so it's about having a respect for the process. This is what we call channeling too, when there's outrageous ideas or thoughts or whatnot. And again, it's hard to communicate this to your partner, to a friend, to a coworker, to whoever this beautiful anchor is that's allowing you to try and put these energetic things into physical words to get another human to understand you. This is happening. This is a process, and this is your process this month. And so again, your mastery is about using your voice to create awareness. And now what you're stepping into as the activation, what is coming in to help you with this. Now your crown chakra is opening up, and it's like, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be black and white. These aren't going to be 1 + 1 = 2 commands you're having to speak to people to create awareness. This is going to be higher thought forms that are, it's almost like trying to explain a dream to somebody, right? And you're like, I don't know why, but this looked like this, and this feels like this. It's a lot of feeling language. And when you can start to interpret those thoughts, put it into feeling language and communicate it, you are creating reality. You are infusing. This is what they call magic. I think I talked about this last month. The imbuing through feeling, through the spoken word, is in essence magic. It is what creates reality. It is the breath of life that infuses energy into non-physical matter, right? Makes it observed, makes it reality, right? And so again, to fulfill your destiny here, which is why you're picking red path, because your purpose opened up and your human is all on board and you're ready to create it and ready to live it and ready to build it and share it. it's all about your voice this month. And remember, duality is what encircles this entire month. Everything sounded really powerful right now, awareness to see clearly, your voice connected to your intuition, to magically imbue what needs to be imbued. But again, all of this comes under the guise of February, which is we tend to get stuck in our own duality here. And depending on who you are and how you're engaged in this multidimensional landscape is going to be how this duality shows up to continue to teach you. So then the next thing we're going to do is your duality. So the duality comes in at the end of the month, and it tends to come in around the 20s. It'll start to slip into your reality, right? All that we call these the initiations, the tests start to come in, and this specifically usually hits its peak wherever the full moon will be, because the full moon illuminates all of that you've been kind of hiding or suppressing, right? And so the full moon will bring illumination to that duality. And so for you, this is all about low self-esteem. And it's so funny, no matter what path you picked, red or blue, they both got low this never happens. They both got low self-esteem. So I guess at the end of this month, we've got massive. This means everybody in our collective is going to be triggered to pull back, triggered to go inward, thinking they're not good enough, thinking it's not working, thinking what they're here to do is not worth it, to give up, to surrender, to put your flag up and say, I've had enough. And that is the duality. It's like, are you going to go there? Are you going to distrust that this is really your path? Are you going to allow what is showing up, or the hard, when it gets hard, are you going to give up? And that's kind of what it is. I'm poking the bear here. It's like, don't give up. No matter what it is this month, don't give it up. Wait till March. We'll see what the energy is in March. Wait till March to make that decision. But come the end of February, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be a direct assault at you, at who you are. Are you smart enough? Are you good enough? Are you strong enough? It's all the I questions you will ask yourself at the end of this month. Am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Am I worthy of this, right? It's like all of those I things that you're internally questioning yourself on. That is where the energy needs to shift. That is where you are dimming your light. You are pulling back from your divinity. You are pulling back from the truth of you, the truth of, again, you're connected to your divine blueprint here. This is stuff that you've intended to have come through. And this is the big hurdle at the end of the month. It's, are you good enough? Do you think you can do it? And you're going to be challenged, and it's going to be a direct challenge at you. People will call you out. You will not feel worthy or like you can, because you don't have what you need, right? It's going to be the human you, the identity of you that is called into question here. This will be stuff from your past, insecurities from your past, low self-esteem. This is like confidence issues, things that attend to that, whether you're going way back to childhood, probably go back to wherever you are on the ladder. It could be, from really young, the adolescent phase. It could be from, your teenager into adulthood phase. Maybe the pattern comes up from back there. But that is you, red path. So with so much light and love, and if you don't already, download the Chakra Deck app. It has so many good things to explore in there. And then we've got so much going on right now that I don't even know where to guide you. But that Chakra Deck app has so much to help you along your journey daily. So it's free for Android and Apple. So download that and make sure you're playing with the pick your path, the drawing the cards and the daily awareness. So it'll help keep you in check of what's going on. So you picked blue path. You are the prophet. You are here manifesting this ability to lead others. I don't think I said that in the beginning at the top of this. Really, this is about you being ready. I explained it as more of the emotional leader, the person who has been clicked into knowing what it takes, having the foresight, having this having this energy, this knowing on how to lead, how to guide, how to support the people around you. And what I didn't say is that this energy is manifesting, which is interesting. It's like the more that you click into this, I think the more those people will be showing up. And again, I know I used a simple energy of like, let's say the mother or the father that just gets called to start to guide the family in a different way. So that might be how it starts. But then once you click into it and once you accept that role of the prophet, the person who just knows how to guide the people that are outside of them, what happens is wherever you are and whatever stepping stone or however big or small that looks for you right now, once you accept that energy, it will grow and it will become more prevalent, evident in your field. You will have more opportunities to lead and to guide. So let's get into your mastery, your new beginning, and then your duality. So how we do this and why you pick a path and why we're here and why all this is happening, right? So the mastery of the month is all about getting you really hyper aware of who you were in January, right? You already picked blue path because of everything that happened in January that got you here. The consciousness level that you came in at is this prophet energy, right? Just having an intuitive knowing and how to support the people around you, right? You are this support system. And so now what's happening is as you've made those decisions, as that has come and pushed you into now this energy that is here, that is we're calling February, that I've been trying to help you see is going to be duality. It's going to pull up a lot of where you're resisting fully interconnecting, being you, being who you've chosen to be, right? No right or wrong, but if you're the meditator, how that looks and how you're pulling together these realities once you're on blue path in this duality month. Again, duality is saying that there is still separation and how do we bring it all together? So if you're the meditator, that might look one way, how you show up in the world, how you figure out your problems, how you understand who you are to then shift, find peace, find centering, and then come back out into the world and deal with all the chaos again, right? And I'm making it seem like everybody's in chaos. Maybe that's just me. But when you look at the macrocosm of the world, it usually is an indicator of what we're all microly going through. Whether you would say you're in turmoil or chaos like I would have in January, if you didn't, I'd say you're probably ignoring some of the inner battles you've had with yourself. It doesn't have to express itself as grandly as it is, in such the divided culture that we're in, in your own life. But again, this is where when we plug it into our own microcosm of what we're experiencing, it's duality. There's an inner trying to figure it out. There's inside of you a left wing versus the right wing, right? There's something that is rubbing up against each other, and what I call it is old paradigm, new paradigm, however you want to identify this. But this is all going to come to a head here in February, because February is the duality. It's going to show you what is in resistance. So if you've been somebody who's like, Jenessee, you make it all sound like the world's burning down. Well, you're going to see what I was talking about here this month. This is where you'll really understand. Is it you believe in COVID, but then you also don't believe in COVID? Is it you think you're one thing, but then you also think you're another thing, right? It can be a very subtle effect of this, but this subtle effect should be really, it's like those little girls with the BFF chains, right? That are the hearts that one each takes a best friend and a best friend. It's like they're best friends and they love each other, and there's nothing wrong with, two little girls or boys who are sharing this little heart necklace. But again, that's showing that there's an ability to be pulled apart, that we're one half of the same whole. And so, whether it's showing up as turmoil or whether it's just showing up as this feeling lost or feeling a bit like you don't know what it is yet, right? That's what we're understanding here in February. And so Oh, I love that. That's where we started. I guess there's a reason for everything. So the mastery for you, interesting. You get a shadow card here, which for those of you who work with the chakra oracle deck, let me explain to you how we would do this, right? Because the mastery is a positive thing. It's like, what are you learning, Blue Path? You're learning this shadow. The mastery should come in to show what your potential is, right? And so when we pull a shadow card is typically saying, whoa, we've dealt with patterns that have been here for so long that we can't even see. And I love this. I love that. That's why I went into, look, you people on the blue path, you probably think I'm a little crazy for feeling like, I don't even know. God, I should have maybe, I don't know. I was at war with myself all January, and so you guys probably think I'm a little bit crazy and over exaggerated here, but this is you. This is what's coming out for you. Let me tell you why you think I'm crazy. It's because you have blocked yourself from seeing your own truth, and this is where this month it should really come to light for you. So again, back to those of you who work with the deck, and even those of you who don't, the mastery here is a shadow, meaning it's a shadow of the third eye chakra. The shadow of the third eye chakra means that they're in the emotional range. You've been emotionally triggered at some point in your life, because what you thought you understood, the perspective you thought you saw, the bigger picture you thought you understood, life or your existence or whatever it is, whatever the meaning or the truth of it was for you, you saw something some way. And in essence, what happened was either people told you, nope, you're seeing things wrong, or the world showed up and proved to you you were wrong. Something broke that, right? Something broke that complete trust in your divine intuition, the ability for you to see clearly everything that's outside of you and to trust in it completely, right? And so that's the key for you. There has been something that's happened to you somewhere along the way, from when you were born all the way up to this beautiful day we sit in here, but something broke you. Something broke you at this level, and I'm going to use extreme words here because you Blue Path need to hear it. Something told you weren't good enough. Something said your intuition, nope, it's not as good as that person's, or nope, you're wrong. Somebody maybe, convinced you that what you thought or what you perceived or the grandeur of which you saw life happening was wrong or ridiculous, or it's an illusion. It's an illusion that you have here. When you get so expansive, when you are tapped in, when you feel like you get it, there's this little shadow that sits in your third eye chakra that says, but maybe I'm not seeing this clearly, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're right. Maybe what that person said is right and I'm wrong. Let me tell you, everybody can be right. Even when it sounds like we're all different, everybody's perceiving and sensing and creating their own reality. So let them see what they want to see. Are you really going to take their opinion over your own intuitive understanding of what's happening? We are all creating our own energetic current within this multidimensional landscape. So that's what everybody doesn't get. Everybody can be right. So again, there's this illusion that comes in. There's this distrust in your innate ability to perceive and sense and know and trust in what you perceive. And this is outside of just seeing and believing, right? Seeing it's physical and believing it, right? It's about seeing it and then having a higher understanding of why those things are happening, or where this is guiding you, or what should come next, right? It's that intuitive knowing behind what you're perceiving. And so the mastery for you this month is going to be to get out of the illusion. And that's how we turn a shadow, my chakra oracle deck friends, into a mastery. It is about mastering the shadow. So the shadow's coming in as illusion, which is there is a pattern from your past. And again, when shadow shows up, it's one of the hardest things to identify within yourself. And this is coming up in your own intuitive center. And this is all of you beautiful, intuitively aligned people on Blue Path who pick this path, who will sometimes surrender what you know to be true, what your perception is, what your understanding is, and you will surrender it or allow somebody else to tell you outside of you that that's not right, or you will second guess yourself, or you will distrust in it because of X, Y, and Z. And so I am here to tell you, Blue Path, your mastery this month is overcoming your own tendencies to shut down, to get blocked, to get stuck in the block, the imprint of the third eye chakra, which is illusion. Okay, and so it is your goal to trust in your own innate intuitive ability. This month for you, the duality for you this month is going to come up surrounding all of the illusion. Again, so you're probably steeped. You might even have things going on in your life. I mean, if we look at the macrocosm of it, the politics, right, and the illusion, it's like what's right, what's wrong. If we look at COVID, the illusion, are you one of the conspiracy theorists? Are you one of the people first in line for the shot? I don't care who you are, there's illusion to all of it, right? And then, you know, if you go just to your life, maybe it's that constant inner struggle between what you perceive and then distrusting it, right? So whatever and however and wherever this is, it's going to come at you from all sides. It's going to be in your physical. It's going to be in your non-physical. If you're a meditator, right? If you're living in one of those, you know, inner worlds and then you receive from the outer world, get ready. Everything's going to be topsy-turvy and flipped on its head here for you. If you're somebody who's not meditating and just showing up in this world, holy jeez, you're going to have to rifle through and figure out, like, you know, it's going to be I have no doubt, Blue Path, it's going to be a lot of, you know, questioning, second guessing, and that's where and if you learn the mastery right now, boom, you're not going to second guess any of it. You will be in such clear alignment and discernment with your own truth that none of it's going to matter, and you're going to stay aligned to what you think, and then what you feel will create your pathway forward. But because it's a shadow for you, Blue Path, you're going to get triggered by it, no doubt. It's going to come up. It's something that's haunted you, that's followed you, that's constantly that whisper at the back of your head that has you believing yourself, and then it's like, but maybe I'm my own head's up my own ass this whole time, and maybe I shouldn't be believing myself, and maybe they are right, and maybe I should listen to what this person said, and maybe I should go check with Jenessee. No, trust yourself. Turn me off right now. So then as we get into your new beginning, so you've got lots of things that are trying to pull you out here. So the new beginning comes in right around the beginning of the month, typically right around the 10s. It's most powerful time is around the new moon, and so I assume that's hitting in the beginning of the month, this month of February. And so the new beginning energy, again, the first few weeks of February will come in as an infusion. This is like an injection into your energetic field, into your auric field. It's an injection of energy that comes in to, boom, give you a boost to start to help you move more towards your mastery. And again, your mastery is interesting because it's illusion, but it's to help unfold the imprints, the emotional imprints you have in your third eye chakra that have you distrusting in your path forward, or distrusting in your own innate intuitive ability. And so your infusion of energy comes in, and it's supercharging your relationships. I love this for you. It's you obsessing. It's a hypersacral chakra. So again, here we go. New energy, new beginning. It's like you get a hypersacral chakra, which is not a good thing. It pulls you out of center. It pulls you out of balance. And so how could this be a good infusion into your field? This is divine saying, where you typically surrender your truth is to these people outside of you who give your power away to. And what they're saying, what your tendency is you will project into the future, into these cords that you're connected to with these other people. And you're constantly trying to assess, you get your intuitive understanding, you feel a certain way, you think a certain way, you have your guidance, and then all of a sudden it's like, you share that with your partner, or you share that in your network, or somebody shares something that's close to you but completely contradicts what you were thinking. And so for you, it's always about this: as soon as the relationship cords trigger, and I always see the sacral chakra as like cords outside of you, right? It's like you've got a cord to your partner, you've got a cord to your kid, you've got a cord to your parent, you've got a cord to your friend, to your boss, to your everything, right? Relationships are each diagnosed by these cords that we carry, all of our relationships outside of us. And so for you, the new beginning comes in, and it's going to supercharge every cord you have connected to you. It's going to have you so hyper focused on what all these people think, what their opinions are. And even if you ask for it or don't, I have a feeling the infusion of energy is gonna, every cord you're connected to, every human you're connected to is through your field. It's gonna send out, what was that guy in Spider-Man, that octopus guy? It's like he's got those tentacles, right, that would like whatever. So it's like, this is how your cords, you not even knowing, your cords are going to be used to supercharge these relationships that are connected to you to come in and like light you up and engage with you. I bet you're going to be a pretty social or wanted person in February. But the interesting thing is, it's going to take you out of your own center. You're going to have a lot of opinions. You're going to have a lot of people's opinions, stuff to deal with. If you're empathic, it's going to come in emotionally. You're going to feel it, which is going to make you then second guess yourself. Again, if you're the meditator, you're going to be able to do this and understand when it's their stuff and your stuff, because you live in two very different worlds, and you know how to identify when it's somebody else's stuff and when it's your stuff. Yet what's going to happen is you're going to second guess. Now, those of you who don't meditate and just show up in the world like I like to now, it's like you're going to get triggered. Things are going to happen. You're going to pull in stuff, and it's going to make you second guess where you were going, what you were doing, what you thought you should be doing. And then come to find out that was just Jimmy's stuff. That wasn't my stuff. That was Jimmy's stuff. Like, how did I again get tricked by this, right? Or he's going to come in, Jimmy's going to come in and completely tell you you're crazy, and you're going to believe Jimmy because Jimmy's always right. And so, this is where the infusion of energy comes in for you. It's a hyper sacral chakra, which means you're going to be very outside of your own field. You're going to be intuiting, thinking, assessing, perceiving what everybody outside of you is doing. And this is going to make it very hard for you to trust in your own intuitive guidance, right? And where you're going. Again, you're the prophet, and you're supposed to be leading all these people, right? This is what got you into this energy. And this is, in essence, one of these potentials, right? But you have to trust yourself. And this is why all this is happening to you, because you are being asked to be more of this guide for people, right? Whether it's small scale or really big scale. And so the guide has to be really in clear discernment to who they are to be able to do that no matter what. And so then as we get into the duality, and the interesting thing here, I already did red path, and duality is the same for red path and blue path. And so I said this to red path. It seems like the end of February is going to be a really big trigger for the entire world. There's probably some really big, I don't know astrologically what's going on, but I bet you there's something pretty daunting astrologically that would come in as an overlay that just kind of, and it's not anything that you have to look out around you for. It's all about you. It's this daunting heaviness that has you questioning yourself. It's low self-esteem. So at the end of this month, you're going to go into a shame spiral. It's going to be like all the I statements. Am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Am I worthy enough? Can I do this? Right? And so it's all these I statements. You're going to second guess who you are. You're going to question yourself because of everything, all this duality, everything you've had to deal with. And the mastery for you is getting rid of the illusion and staying true to who you are, because you're the prophet. You're this person that can lead when you're clear on who you are and what you're doing. And so this, again, it's going to come in a contrast to that. It's like, but am I good enough to do this? Am I strong enough? Am I worthy, right? And so it's a lot of that low confidence, low self-esteem, just that self-doubt, that that spiral, that, you know, it's a complete attack on you. And I think for you, this is going to be you doing it to you. Where red path, it's more of like outside people are going to attack red path and their identity. Where for you, I think this is a really inner, it's going to be this kind of like breakdown energy. And so that comes in around the full moon. It starts coming in around the 20s. These are the hurdles that blue path you're going to have to get through towards the end of the month that are really going to test you to see if you have let go of the illusion and if you've really truly clicked into the trust of what you sense and what you perceive. So that is your path, blue path, with so much light and love. If you do not have the membership or the Chakra Deck app, the Chakra Deck app is free and it's a great resource and tool for you to use daily to stay aligned. And if you want a little bit more, join the Chakra membership. It's basic level $7 a month, and you get so much. When you draw a card from the app, you can go deeper and then get the meditation that kind of goes with it depending on what energy you're pulling in that day. So it just really helps you stay clear, stay clicked in, and stay into alignment. So with so much light and love for your February journey, until next month.
If what you seek is seeking you, then what are you looking for?
There's a part of you that wants to expand, it wants to grow, and it wants to feel much better than it already does.
This membership program offers courses to change your reactions and tools to expand your perspective.
They're tools. They're just trying to amplify what's already there, make you a better version of self. This is the first time I felt full in my entire life.
Guided meditations and live interactions will bring validation.
Going through these rebirths or this evolution, this form of change, this shift, it is the most exciting part.
Explore your potential, embrace your gifts, and empower your life.